Hey, how are you guys doing? I'm hopping on here very quickly before I start my day to have this conversation with my Christian female coaches. So, those of you, if you are new to my channel, well, I guess technically I'm over on YouTube, so that's the channel. But if you are new to me, my name is Beverly Wathauer. I am a business strategist specifically for Christian female coaches. And so I help my clients to create more income and more impact without compromising their Christian values. I'm also a TV and radio show host, so we film and record the TV and radio show here in Atlanta, GA. I know some of you guys like, Bev, you seem like you're going live early and early every day, but it's only because I'm doing the challenge at night, so it's a little bit easier for me to hop on here and do these lives during the day before my or in the morning before my day really takes off. And so you guys, as you come on in once again, say hi, hello, hey. And I wanted to have this conversation with my Christian female coaches. And this is going to be a short live. And I know some of y'all are giggling because I Bev, you always say that, but I do. I have calls starting in a bit, so I can't talk but so long on here. But as you guys hop on in here, like I said, definitely let me know that you are on here. Once again, if you are a Christian female coach, this is for you. I'm not talking to any other type of coach. I'm not talking to any other entrepreneur. I'm talking to Christian female coaches. And so, as most of you guys know, if you were in my space, like if you've been in my space for more than 24 hours, then you know that I am currently in the midst of running my 5-day challenge, how to sign your next $2,000 plus coaching client 5-day challenge. And so we got started with the challenge on Monday. So today is day 3 of the challenge. Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. And did I say absolutely amazing challenge so far? And so, this morning, and it was crazy because this morning was kind of crazy for me as far as getting my day started. And I received some news from a friend of mine, and so it kind of slowed me down a bit. I had to create something a little earlier, so I was like, okay, God, maybe I can't really dive into my study like I normally do, like my morning study, before I actually get started. So I'm like, okay, but God, maybe I should, I might not have time to read my Bible and all that stuff that I normally do. But I'm like, no, Bev, this week you're really pushing in for these ladies that are a part of your challenge. So I'm like, okay, guys. So I go downstairs to start my Bible study, and I always pray as I do my Bible study. I always pray, asking God to open up my heart, mind, and all that stuff to His Word. And I'm always asking Him, speak to me through Your Word, confirm through Your Word. And so it's crazy because, like I said, initially I was not going to read this morning. So last night, as a part of the challenge, we were talking about their offers, so them creating their offers. And so one thing that I said to them was something along the lines of, God is just looking for your yes, and He'll take care of the rest, is what I said to them. Hey. So I said to them last night, God is just looking for your yes, He'll take care of the rest. So, like I said, it was all about their offer. And for a lot of people, this is where they're going to start to fall down, is talking about their offer, talking about their pricing, and talking about how to sell it. So these are the topics we're going to talk about over the next 3 days in the challenge. Once again, pricing your offer. So yesterday was about your offer. Today is about pricing your offer. And then Thursday and Friday is all about selling. And that's where people start to slow down. That's where where the enemy really starts to distract you with other things. Because once again, now it's one thing if you talk about, okay, guy, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do this coaching thing. It's one thing for you to say a thing, but it's another thing for you to actually put action behind your words. So those of you that are working on creating your offer, those of you today, as we're talking about pricing your offer, we're going to talk about selling your offer. Once again, you better believe there are going to be more and more distractions. And once again, I had to recognize this morning the distractions that were coming my way, even for myself. And once again, I almost fell into the trap of not doing what I needed to do, which for me, it was really getting before, but God and kind of preparing for my day. And so, like I said, I questioned him all the way going down the stairs, like, God, really? And am I going to be able to do it? All of that stuff. But like I said, I'm so glad that I went ahead and pushed through. And so this morning, and I have my Bible in my hand. Usually I have my phone, but today I had to bring my Bible. I had to go, sometimes you just need that thing you can touch and have in your hand. So today I actually have my Bible. And so I'm in 1 Kings 17. Hey, minister. Hey. And so I'm in 1 Kings 17 today. And so this is all about Elijah. And this particular part was about when he went to the widow. And so as I'm reading this part, and it reminded me of yesterday during our session. Like I said, I'm always asking God to confirm for me, confirm things through His Word or speak to me through His Word. And so, as I'm reading First Kings 17, and I run up on the part about the widow, it reminded me of last night because, like I said, we are now in the midst of this challenge of my coaches getting out there in front of these people and letting the people that God has called them to serve, letting them know, hey, I have this service, this is how I can support you, type of thing. But once again, this is where people start to slow down, trip up, they stop in the challenge because now they start thinking about all the things that they don't have. They start thinking about how they're not prepared. All of these things, all of these distractions that if we're not careful, the enemy will start whispering in your ear about all the reasons and why you can't do what God has called you to do. So let me tell you about this part. So once again, this is about when, once again, he came up on the widow. And so I'll just read parts of it. So it says, I have commanded a widow in that place to supply you with food. So once again, this is this is the story about Elijah. So Elijah says, when he came to the town gate, a widow was there gathering sticks. He called to her and asked, would you bring me a little water in a jar so that I may have a drink? As she was going to get it, he called and said, bring me, please, a piece of bread. And surely as the Lord your God lives, she replied, I don't have any bread, only a handful of flour in a jar and a little oil in a jug. I am gathering a few sticks to take home to make a meal for myself and my son, that we may eat it and die. And so once again, my mind immediately went back to what I said last night to my people about, give God your yes, and he will take care of the rest. And once again, the fact that we're now talking about your offer and getting out there in front of people. And so that immediately popped in my head as I was reading that scripture, because for me, as I was reading that, once again, it reminded us a lot of times we feel like, and we talked about this last night too, that we're not ready for everything that God has for us. So in this part, when Elijah asked the widow about the bread, she immediately said what she didn't have. So she immediately said, I don't have the bread. And so the same thing, a lot of us, when it comes to what God has called us to do in our business, it's like, but God, I don't have this. God, I don't have this fancy website. God, I don't have this big email list. God, I don't have a lot of people that are following me. God, I haven't done any speaking, or God, I haven't, like, we're immediately talk about the things that we don't have, but then it was like, she then remembered, okay, but I do have this. And this is what it reminded me of. And this is what I was talking to you guys about last night. Just take that first step. So use what you do have right now. And this is what I tell my people all the time. When people come to me, I always tell my clients, we start with what you have right now. This is where we start, and then we go from there. And so that reminded me of that. And so what I love about this, and I don't know about y'all, I don't know, maybe I'm a bad Christian, I don't know. But I always know when God is telling me, when God says something to me, my first instinct is to always come back, well, God, I don't have this, and God, I don't have that, and God, what about this, and God, what about that? And I like a lot of these stories because that's what they do. Like, well, God, hold on, wait a minute, because I feel like that's me sometimes. Like, I'm not always like, okay, God, I got you. I'm like, sometimes I'm like, God, you sure? Did I hear correctly from you? Because this don't make no sense, type of thing. But like I said, when she decided, okay, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and use what I have. Once again, she took that first step. Okay, I'm going to take this oil. I'm going to take this flour. And what did God do? God ended up doing exceedingly abundantly above anything she can ask, all because she decided to make that first step. She took that, okay, she probably was in that kitchen or wherever it was. I'm going to say the kitchen, and just like, okay, I don't know what's going on. He know this all I have. This is what I was preparing for. Because some of you guys are preparing to give up. Just like this woman said, hey, we're going to take our last meal and then we're going to die. Some of you guys are preparing to give up because you feel like you don't have enough. And you guys, I'm telling you, just take that next step. Whatever it is that he's telling you to do, whatever it is that he's telling you to do in the business, you have to trust him. Take that next step and he will take care of the rest. Like I said yesterday, give him your yes and he will take care of the rest. And so once again, like I said, I know she was probably in there, she prepared. He gonna come in here and ask. I told him this all that I got, it's only enough for me and my son. And so, like I said, even thinking back to what's going on in your business, like I said, for some of you guys, like I said, you feel like you don't have enough. You feel like you have to have all of these grand major things. And that's why sometimes in this online space, as I see some of the things that people are saying that you have to do in your business, I'm like, you don't need all that. Like, it doesn't take all that. Start with what you have right now and go from there. So just take that next step and watch what God does. Watch what God does. Watch what God does. I'm telling you, Melody, like I said, I almost did not even do my normal routine today because everything was just kind of hitting me this morning. I'm like, God, what is going on? But then, like I said, I remember we're doing this challenge together. And just like I tell you guys, those people that are participating in the challenge or whatever it is that you're doing, you best believe distractions are going to come your way. You got me spitting all over the place. Distractions are going to come your way. Watch what happens. So you have to recognize those distractions for what they are. So like I said, those of you, once again, she used what she had. And then the same thing. So I'm like, wherever you are in your business, put yourself out there. Once again, you don't have this whole big elaborate sales funnel. You don't have this whole big, this whole big website. You only have 100 people in your Facebook group. Start with where you are, with what you have, and have those conversations. Talk to your people. Let your people know what it is that you can do. Well, Bev, I don't have a whole lot of testimonials. Start with the one that you have. Well, Bev, start with yourself. Like, once again, start with what you have. We always focus on the big thing of what we don't have versus us focusing on what we do have. So the same thing with the widow. Her thing was like, okay, well, this is what I do have. And once again, her starting with what she had and using what she had. And she was able to, once again, God ended up taking care of her. Of course, he provided everything, all of her needs, all of that stuff. And once again, because she never ran out of that food. So like I said, for a lot of us, we have to stop focusing on what it is that we don't have. So when I titled this as far as us talking about the fact that, a lot of us, we don't put ourselves out there. We don't offer our services and stuff because we feel like we either don't have enough experience. I don't have, this. I haven't gotten this certification. I'm only this. I'm only that and all that stuff. Once again, start with what you have. God called you for a reason to this business for a reason. He felt like you were qualified enough to do what it was or what it is that he has called you to do. Why do you feel like you know more than him? Why do you feel like you know more than him? I love it. Yes, 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 minister. I'm telling you, you guys. So like I said, start with where it is, what you have. So once again, those of you that are struggling with or you have questions about how to sell, how to price your stuff, once again, use the resources that you have. So of course, those of you, if you're in the challenge, tonight we're talking about pricing. We're going to talk about how to price your services. Tomorrow and Friday, we're going to talk about how to sell your services. So use the resources that you have. So I'm going to show you, I'm not going to tell you you have to buy something different. I'm not going to tell you you have to have all this stuff. I always show my clients, start with where you are. Use what you have right now, access at your fingertips. Use that and then grow from there. I'm telling you, when you do that, so like I said, just like with the widow woman, with what she had, she used her oil, the little bit of oil and the flour that she had. And then once again, she never ran out. She had enough for the rest of her life. That's the first part. The next part to the story, of course, was, okay, now, she's doing the thing. So this is the thing. A lot of us, we're doing what we feel like God is calling us to do. So we're doing the thing, all the things that we're doing. And then something happens. So we know in the next part of that scripture, her son ended up dying. And so when he became ill, he got worse, and then he stopped breathing. And so once again, think about this. For a lot of us, you're doing what you feel like God is calling you to do. You're doing, and it's not looking the way that you thought that it would. Like, once again, it's dying. Your business, you may feel like your business is dying in a sense. And so what was the first thing that widow woman did? She went ahead and she called Elijah back. She's like, hold up, wait a minute now, look. Although she had seen what God had done for her before, she had seen it for herself with that oil and with that flour. So she's seen it. You guys, we're like this as well. God can show up in our lives, do a thing for us, sustain and provide for us. And then we're going about our business and then something else pops up. And sometimes we forget, whoa, wait a minute, what's going on? And what did she do? The part that really stood out to me was what she said to Elijah. So she said, she said to Elijah, what do you have against me, man of God? Did you come to remind me of my sin and kill my son? And so all of a sudden, we kind of move into that space of where we start asking, okay, what am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? I'm doing all the things. It's not working. Like, we start blaming ourselves. And you guys, it's not about what's wrong with you. Once again, you guys, I really feel like a lot of this with our business, it's a faith walk, especially, and I talked about this with my challengers, especially when things are not working the way that you thought that it was. Like, I'm doing the thing, God, I feel like you're doing what it is that you had me to do. And Father, this thing ain't looking right, and these people ain't acting right and all that stuff. And so once again, I really and truly believe it's about your faith. And then you also watching the words that you allow to come out of your mouth when you're in those places and in those spaces where it does not look the way that you thought that it would. When you feel like things are dying, you have to really be careful about the words that are coming out of your mouth, especially in those times when things do not look the way that you desire for them to look. That's why I tell my people, surround yourself with other believers in business. So when you do get into that space, you have other people, especially those times when you can't pray for yourself, you have other people that are lifting you up, that are standing in your behalf, standing in the gap for you, but also pushing you to get out there, especially as an entrepreneur. And then, of course, we know that the story goes ahead and finishes up. Well, this is what Elijah went ahead and laid on top of the boy, and the boy came back to life or whatever. And so, and let me make sure, double check. But yeah, he went up to the room, and yeah, that was the one where he stretched out in front of the boy. And this is the part. Let me say this other part too, because I kind of skimmed over that, but I don't want to miss this part. But Elijah said, "Give me your son." Elijah replied. He took him from her arms, carried him up to the upper room where he was staying, and laid him on the bed. Then he cried out to the Lord, "Oh Lord, my God, have you brought tragedy upon this widow I am staying with by causing her son to die?" Then he stretched himself out on the boy 3 times, cried to the Lord, "Oh Lord, my God, let this boy's life return to him." The Lord heard Elijah's cry, and the boy returned to life, and he lived. Elijah picked the child up and took him down to his mom. And so the thing was, what I noticed was, Elijah laid on him 3 times. It wasn't, the first time he laid on him, the second time he laid on him, the third time he laid on him. And this is with us a lot of times in our businesses. We are not as persistent as we need to be. So you put an offer out there, nobody buys. Your first instinct, okay, let me go over here. I'm going to start creating. I'm going to start learning all this stuff like that. You give up after the first try. You give up after the first try. Elijah didn't give up after the first try. Once again, 3 times. And so you guys, you have to be persistent and consistent when it comes to you being an entrepreneur. Things are not always going to work the first time. And so I see so many of you guys giving up. I see so many of you guys doubting yourself, that type of thing. I'm like, oh, no. That means you look at it, see what happened. You may have to tweak some things, but once again, it doesn't mean that you just stop doing it. Once again, you try to launch something, it didn't work. So now you're not going to launch anything else again. Oh my goodness, maybe this is God telling me that I'm not supposed to be doing this. Wait a minute. So he told you to start the business, and then all of a sudden he's going to turn around and say no. I'm just saying. Exactly. Yes, 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 and yes. So you guys, like I said, my thing is, for some of us, she had other people, that this widow had other people. That's why I'm telling you guys, surround yourself with other believers in business, surround yourself with other believers in business. And what it is that you're doing, don't try to do this thing by yourself. Do not try to do this thing by yourself. Do not try to do it in your own strength. Do not try to do this thing in your own strength. Don't try to do it by yourself. All of that stuff. Because even when she called Elijah, once again, Elijah just didn't say, okay, let me go ahead and let me put my hand upon this boy and raise him from the dead. What did Elijah do? Elijah knew he had to partner with God. Elijah cried out to God. A lot of us, are you crying out to God? Are you asking God about your next steps? Or are you just doing because somebody told you that you need to post and go live 30 days in a row? Did you go live 30 days in a row because somebody told you to do it? Or did you consult with God about that? Okay, God, if I, okay, yeah, I understand going live and being visible. God, what do I need to say to my people? What is it that I need to talk to my people about? You see what I'm saying? Don't just do something because somebody told you to do it. Once again, he was a prophet and he realized, hey, I need to partner with God. You guys, we are believers in business. We know that we have to partner with God. A lot of you guys, you're doing things in your own energy. You're trying to make it work. And then you're annoyed and upset and ticked off because it's not working. But who are you listening to? Did God tell you to do that thing? And so even with the post that I just made a post on my personal page, so many of us, we love it, especially as believers. I'm talking to my Christians right now, so I'm getting ready to step on some toes, and I'm just saying, some of y'all, it's a badge of honor for you to yell out and talk about how busy you are. You're always busy. Your calendar is always full. You're always tired. That's not how God called us to live. That is not how God called us to live. Like I said, your calendar, every time you look at your calendar from 8 o'clock in the morning to 8 o'clock at night, your calendar is always full. Like I said, you're always tired. You're always doing stuff. Always. And I'm like, did God tell you to do all that? Or is that you in your own strength, in your own vanity, trying to look like you're doing something? Well, Bev, in the Bible, it said idle hands is the devil's workshop. You guys, first of all, does that say in the Bible? Somebody let me know if that's the scripture. I don't know. And I'm not saying that it's not. But once again, also knowing that sounds like a proverb to me. Let me know. Somebody let me know. Let me know. Let me know. And my thing is this. But is God telling you to do all the things that you're doing, all the things that you have on your calendar, all the things that you have that's filling your day? Are those things that God told you to do? Because my thing is, if it is, he's going to give you the strength. He's going to give you the strength. So you won't have this, I'm tired and all this and da-da-da-da. I'm just saying, feeling overwhelmed and stressed out and all that. God did not call you and designed you to live that way. Point blank, period. That is not what he called you to do. Stop it. Okay. So you guys, like I said, that's all that I have. So once again, this right here, like I said, this whole selling your services, pricing your services, and all that stuff like that. Once again, even like I said, with this scripture right here and me reading this particular chapter in 1 Kings 17, like I was saying, you guys, when it comes to all of that, you have to remember, especially when it comes to those, especially those of you in the challenge, because we're coming out here now and we're getting ready to be more and more visible over these next few days, talking about our services. And so just knowing when it comes to you pricing your services, when it comes to you selling your services, this is what I always say to people. You know, you need to make sure, one, you are in alignment with your pricing. Because if you don't think that you can sell a thing at $5,000, you're not going to be able to sell a thing at $5,000. It's not going to happen. You're not going to be able to do it. You're not going to be able to do it. So no matter how many people tell you you should, if you don't think that you can, you're not going to be able to do it. And so once again, over the next few days in the challenge, we're going to talk about selling. We're going to talk about the pricing. We're going to talk about all of those things like that. We're going to talk about that. So if you're not part of the challenge, go ahead and join us. If you're not a part of the challenge, go ahead and join us. But Bev, you said we're on day 3, okay? You start and just pick up on day 1 and just keep going. Join us on the live sessions anyway. Just keep going. Just keep going. Once again, I'm telling you. Once again, use what you have. Use what you have. Start with what you have right now and just go. Start with what you have. Even when it comes to pricing, even when it comes to selling, all of that stuff. Start with what you have. Start with what you have. Start with what you have. So like I said, if you are not a part of the challenge, here's the link. Go ahead and join us. www.beverly5daychallenge.com. Go ahead and join us. www.beverly5daychallenge.com. Go ahead and put your name and email. Once you do that, you'll be presented with some resources that are designed to help you to accelerate your results. So go ahead and join us. If you have not joined us, here it is. Go ahead, click here. Go ahead, go to that website, put your name and email in. And then, like I said, even with this right here, this whole chapter here, 1 Kings 17, start with what you have. Start with where you are. Use what you have right now. You don't have to have a bunch of things to get out there and price and sell your services. You do not. You do not. Start with what you have. Like I said, that is what I do with my clients. We start with what they have, and then we build from there. We start with what you have, and then we build from there. So you guys, like I said, if you're not a part of the challenge, go ahead and join us, www.beverly5daychallenge.com. If you have signed up for the challenge and you have not been participating, make that decision to go ahead and say, hey, I'm going to go ahead and start from this point forward and just keep going. Pick it up one day at a time. So start with where you are, go with what you have for right now, and then just do one day at a time. Just do one day at a time. Okay. So you guys, like I said, I can't be on here too long today because I do have calls and stuff like that. But you guys, I pray that this helps. If there's a coach that needs to hear this information, tag them in the comments. If there's a coach that you know, like I said, tag them. Let them know. Start with what you have. Like I said, a lot of times we focus on what we don't have. We look at what we don't have. God is saying, look at what you do have. Look at what you do have. I'm going to show you how to use what you do have. But you have to make that decision. You have to make that decision that you're going to start with what you have. Thank you for the confirmation. In 1997, when I lost my job, I wasn't sure how I was going to pay my bills, and the Lord asked me, what do you have in your head? I started making clergy robes and food, and food was falling out of my cabinet. I love it, making clergy robes. I love that. And so you guys, like I said, so often we focus on what we don't have. Focus on what you do have. Once again, the power that you have in your hand, your mind, all of that stuff, all of those things that you can use. Start with what you have and go from there. Okay? All right, you guys, like I said, that's all that I have. Once again, I pray that this helps someone, release someone. Those of you that are feeling like you have to have a bunch of stuff and do a bunch of things, once again, start where you are and grow from there in your business and watch what happens. Those things that you feel like are dead in your business, I talk about business, but it applies to any area, life, relationship, all of that stuff like that. Once again, keep that in mind. calling out to God, making sure that you're in alignment with what He has, surrounding yourself with other people, remaining persistent with what it is that you were called to do. Thank you, Melody. I am so glad that it did. Okay, you guys, like I said, that's all that I have. Once again, I pray you have an amazing rest to your day. If you have specific questions for me and how I may be able to support you, please feel free to reach out to me. Once again, if you are a part of the challenge, of course, day 3 went out today. This right here is all about your pricing and stuff and your offer. So I'm going to see what you guys post in the group about your pricing and your offer. And then, of course, we will hop on live tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you guys, I pray that you have an amazing rest to your day. Take care, take care, take care.